Ever crave something tasty but feel like you should eat something healthy instead? We all have that battle. I have that battle all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you don't have to compromise. Wonderful pistachios, the don't hold back snack. These are craveable, flavorful, and totally addictive in the best way. I'm talking dill pickle, honey roasted, chili roasted, bold flavors that bring the tangy, the sweet, and everything in between. Each serving, I did my own test, and this is what I came up with, has 6 grams of protein and 0 grams of regret. Check out wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more about the Don't Hold Back snack.
Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Hey, Conan O'Brien here, and got a little bit of a surprise for you today. There are 2 of my longtime writers, are Mike Sweeney and Jessie Gaskell, and they have a podcast they've been doing for a while. It's really beautifully done, called Inside Conan, an Important Hollywood Podcast, and they talk to all kinds of people behind the scenes that have played a role on my show, going way back to 1993. And recently, they invited my longtime producer, who's been with me since the beginning, Jeff Ross, and myself on the podcast. And they got us to tell the story of how I pretty much went from being an unknown writer at The Simpsons to hosting this late-night talk show. And it was a fascinating session. And I thought I didn't expect this whole tale to unravel this way, but it did. So I thought you might like it, and so it's going to play for you right now if you'd like to hear it. If not, delete. Is that even possible, Gorley?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, great. Don't delete it.
Trust me, I've deleted you many times.
But I was very happy with this and proud of the way it came out, and so we thought that we'd make it available to you right now. Hope you like it.
And now,
It's time for
Inside Conan, an Important Hollywood Podcast.
I'm Conan O'Brien, and I'm here with Jeff Ross, longtime executive producer. Came in, 2007, I think he came in. No, that's a joke.
He started on the show before you did.
Jeff was there before I was there.
Yeah.
And we have agreed to be on Inside Conan. And this has been a year-long negotiation.
It's been a lot of back and forth with lawyers.
Yeah.
We got the green
Publicist.
M&Ms that you asked for.
I wanted to make sure that you had spoken to every prop master who ever worked on the show.
Before you got to me.
Yeah, every custodian.
Well, we've talked to both of you.
No, that's true.
Separately, but
Right.
never together. And now we're here to compare your stories.
I
Terrific.
don't think you've ever been in the same room for an interview before.
It's
as
a
far as we
terrific
know.
idea.
Jeff,
I think we have. I think
Jeff
we,
is not. I think it's a Friday, and you're like,
No.
you want to start your weekend.
This is just another sandbagging by Mike Sweeney.
I have zero. I wish I had an agenda. I wish I had that
First
much
of all,
brain power.
Jeff, you just got back from Cabo. You've been
That's
away
not
for
fair.
a week.
What?
And yes.
And he's acting like I've got to get back.
Exactly. And he's already like, what am I doing here? I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
He has his own tequila now. It's a subsidiary of Cabo Wabo. It's called Jeffy Weffy's Cabo Wabo.
It's actually called Conesy Wonesy.
Conesy Wonesy. Conesy Wonesy.
We're not promoting that on this podcast.
Well, you just did.
good
and that's
idea.
not coming out. That's how we pay the bills.
Only CBC products.
But so we're here and we're open to this examination. This is the Warren Commission on Conan O'Brien's career.
I'm getting the impression you two never talk to each other.
How could one bullet do that much damage?
We just passed the statute of limitations, so now you can't be prosecuted for
Great.
anything
We'll
in those
talk to
early
you.
years.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can start at the very beginning. What were your first impressions of each other?
Well, we should tell the story that
How you met? How
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
because, and then I'll set it up, and then Jeff, you can take it away. Basically, to take people way back when in the Wayback Machine, David Letterman announces because he didn't get the Tonight Show, he's pissed. And He's angry. He feels like that he was in line for that. Jay got it. Forget his last name. And so Letterman's upset. And then he does the thing that NBC doesn't see coming. He says, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And they never thought he would do that, I think. And so suddenly there's an opening. They need a host for 12:30. And at the time, people don't understand now. Now, I mean, there's no such thing as a time slot anymore, really. But there's just an infinite number of jobs now and shows. Back then, when there was a space available, it was like a once-in-a-decade event, especially in late night.
It was a big deal.
It was a huge deal, and everyone was like, who's going to replace Dave? And the affiliates were getting nervous, so NBC had an idea, which is to stall and to keep the affiliates calm. We'll just tell them Lorne Michaels is going to figure it out. The producer of Saturday Night Live, and he always makes the right choice, so Lorne will do it. And so Lorne agreed to that, I think, and with the understanding that he would produce it. And that bought NBC some time with the affiliates. They're like, whoa, oh, good. Well, Lorne is figuring it out.
It's being handled.
It's being handled. And so then...
And that's great shorthand.
It was a very good idea. And NBC has only had good ideas. This was an incredible team, a brain trust. And then they... so Lorne's handling it. And then Lorne's first move, before he picks anybody, is he knows a young lad named Jeff Ross. And he dials the phone. Jeff, fresh back from Cabo, even back then.
I knew it. This is going to be
trashed on
an hour of me
tequila.
getting abused.
No, not at all.
That's
and by the way,
okay.
this is a 6-hour episode.
It's more like a rectal exam.
Yeah. So,
It won't be that pleasant.
yeah. Those you get medication for.
In Mexico.
I love a rectal exam if I get the right propofol. So, phone rings, and Jeff, you take it from there. I'm leaving.
Lorne, I get the. Lorne says to me, I guess it was in the news, or we all knew he was going to produce the show and pick the host. And he says to me, "Would you produce it?" And I said,
how did you know Lorne?
I'm sorry. Well, that's true.
It's a good thing I'm here.
Yeah,
that's called a follow-up question.
I had spent a year in Canada producing The Kids in the Hall, and then I was doing some other shows for Lorne and a lot of HBO specials, and I was around, and Lorne knew me, and I guess he had to hire somebody to do something on this thing. So he called me, and he was like, I'm doing this thing. I got to produce the show to replace Letterman. I go, I heard. And he says, you want to produce it? And it's sort of to what Conan was saying. It's such a surreal thing, let alone, obviously you want to be the host. Somebody says, you want to produce the show that's going to replace Letterman, which was the biggest thing at the time. Mm-hmm. And there's no idea who the host is. So I wound up in this sort of like crazy whirlwind of nutty ideas and going to auditions. I think at the same time, he was talking to you.
He talked to you first because I had heard your name.
We hadn't met yet.
We hadn't met. And Lorne, I had left SNL 2 years earlier, maybe 2.5 years earlier, and gone to The Simpsons.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I was in Los Angeles, and I had moved on. Lorne very sweetly had really wanted me to stay at SNL, and he was saying, you can work from home. It was really nice.
Wow,
yeah,
he was ahead of his time.
He really was. He said there's going to be a terrible virus.
He knew.
There's a virus in Wuhan. You'll see.
We're all coming for you.
You know.
And I said, no, I really have to go. I was going through a lot at the time. That'll be in my memoir. I was going through a lot of stuff in my personal life, and I was, I think, very unhappy. And I just decided I've got to leave the East Coast. And so I got this great chance to work on The Simpsons. So I'm there, and I really feel like I've put New York in my rearview mirror. Mm-hmm. And I've put, even though I had an amazing experience at SNL, I thought that's all behind me now. Mm-hmm. And then it's now 2 years later, and the phone rings, and it's Lorne. And he said that he's setting up the new late night show to replace Letterman. And I'll remember very clearly me saying, well, good luck, because there's no replacing Letterman. And I was quite
sorry for whoever gets that job.
I really
just
did.
Show a test pattern.
And I think Jeff probably felt the same way. We both felt like, he had been, Dave had, recreated the talk show and created this whole new sensibility. And it felt like, he had discovered this whole new continent. Mm-hmm. And how do you follow that?
And he had carved out 1235 as this.
Yes.
I actually thought it wasn't really going to happen.
You thought what?
I just thought it wasn't going to happen.
Oh,
what
really?
do you mean?
In other words, either Lorne wasn't going to produce it, or something was going to happen, and I wasn't going to produce it.
Right.
So it just seemed not real.
Were you
at the time?
Did you hesitate to say yes to producing this show?
No, I said yes.
You just jumped right in.
Yes.
Okay.
You
And
said
you
yes,
said there
but
were a lot of crazy ideas.
But I didn't believe it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so Lauren at first is talking to me about being the kind of head writer, you know.
Right.
So Jeff will be the producer who makes it all happen, and then I'll be the head writer, sort of producer. And I remember initially being like, "Well, I'll talk to you about it." I had a contract at The Simpsons,
Right.
that technically wasn't breakable, which sounds crazy, but
Fox is hard. They don't.
I'm not kidding. They
I've heard
and
that.
so I
That's
think
later on in the story.
Yeah, I had signed like a 4-year deal to be at The Simpsons, and I think I was doing a good job, and they liked having me there. So this is not a place, not The Simpsons, to be specific here. Fox is not a place where you can just say, you know what,
Right.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And so there was that. And I also kept saying, I don't think anyone can replace Letterman. I mean, I was saying that and thinking that, and actually still believe it. So
I see no evidence.
No, I'm not kidding. I still think that's the case.
Case closed.
But so Jeff and I are. I think we didn't talk yet, but then at some point we hadn't met yet.
Right.
Jeff's just a name, and then I bow out. I say, you know what? I remembered having an anxiety attack, a really strong anxiety attack,
Right.
and thinking I just can't do this. And I called Lauren. Actually, went and met Lauren, who had an office at the time at the Paramount lot, and I just said I can't do it. And he was, I think, a little rattled because he, I think, was telling people I've got this lined up. I've got Jeff. I've got Conan.
I think he's trying to put pieces together.
He's trying to put the pieces
So
together.
this is an anxiety attack just on being the head writer of this show.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you don't know who the host is.
And I don't know who the host is. And
Right.
so I bow out. And so I'm out of the process. And I remember feeling a huge sense of relief. Huge relief.
Yeah.
Then a couple of weeks go by, and Lauren, I think, had a showcase, and I think Jeff went to the showcase. And
Well, I was on the East Coast doing another show, and I had to come to LA to do a different show. And Lauren calls me to his office, the same office at Paramount. He says, well, can you go to this showcase tonight at the Improv?
Uh-huh.
And we've talked about this before.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like, you know,
Yeah.
it was like 5 comics, all male, I believe.
And they all knew that they were auditioning for Lauren.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they were
Lauren
like
was there, and
floating
so
for
was
it, a lot
and so
of
were the guys who ran the network. Don Ohlmeyer was there. Warren Littlefield was there. John Agolio was there. He was like the business affairs guy. And afterwards,
Oh,
what was
boy.
the restaurant?
Those guys are always good laughers.
Remember the mustache? Oh yeah, remember the mustache cafe?
Biz Affairs.
The Mustache
Like,
Cafe.
it was across
Yes.
from the.
I remember the
Improv.
Mustache Cafe.
So afterwards, they're all going with us, and
Yeah.
Lauren goes, "Come with us," and I'm thinking, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And we go over there, and I'm sitting there, and he goes, well, and everybody's arguing about who they thought was good and who was
Right.
not good.
Right.
And Ohlmeyer goes, everybody meet in my office tomorrow. And Lauren turns to me and goes, can you come to this meeting at Ohlmeyer's office? And I go, sure. And so I go to this office, and this is when the connection started.
With Conan.
Ohlmeyer's kind of beating up on everybody because that's kind of the way he was, you know.
Yeah, he was Don Ohlmeyer.
Soft
You
touch.
all know him, but you know him because he was running NBC when the OJ trial was happening, and Don was very good friends with OJ, and would get very upset when Norm Macdonald would do jokes that basically said, for reasons I don't see the evidence,
guilty.
but
Every
basically say that, on the day of the verdict, Norm Macdonald said, well, it's official. Murder is now legal in the state of California. So that really didn't endear him to, this is just to tell you who Don Ohlmeyer was, but
Yeah.
Don Ohlmeyer was kind of like, imagine Babe Ruth at around 45 years old, like a big, over the top. And I have a lot of affection for Don. I want to make that clear. I really do. And I think he had a lot of really good qualities, and he was very loyal to me in the long run. So there's a lot of things about Don that I have very good feelings about. But he could
He's
sometimes
intimidating.
he could be very intimidating
Yes.
and be kind of, he had a sports mentality because he had come from the world of sports. So it was a lot of like
Right.
kicking guys in the ass and get out there.
Come
and
on, you got to figure it out.
get
you
your
know.
head in the game, you fuckers. And it was that kind of
So
attitude.
he was sort of putting everybody on the spot to come up with Don, and Ludwin was there, and
Mhm.
Rick Ludwin.
Yeah.
And so finally, Lauren says, well, I think Conan could do it. And he turns to me and says, don't you think?
Oh, wow.
And
And
we
that
had-
was the first time he'd brought it
We
up.
had not met.
And he had never met me.
And so
Yeah.
I smartly go, yeah, I think so.
That's how you survive in show business.
Exactly.
Great improv skills.
And I'll never forget this. And then Omar goes, well, can we test him? And then Lauren turns to me and goes, can we test him? And I go, sure.
So what happens is I'm working at The Simpsons like a normal everyday Joe. And I come home with my lunch pail and my hard hat, and I put it down, and I see that there's a machine. The machine. This is back when you had a machine with a blinking light.
What an answering machine is.
Yeah, so I play it, and it's not. Lauren doesn't leave messages to this day, but it's one of his 35 people saying, "Conan, could you give Lauren a call?" So I call him, and he said, "Look, I know you don't want to do it, but would you be the head writer? But would you be interested in going to an audition?" Now, I had a panic attack at that, which is the idea that I would audition because I was a writer. Now, things have changed a lot since then. This is before, now Seth Meyers, John Mulaney, there's just this long tradition. Tina Fey, people are writers and then they get elevated and they figure it out. This hadn't really happened before.
Right.
And there really was, behind the scenes, I had been kind of a performing writer for a bunch of years, doing improv, groundlings and improvisation, and constantly, it's where I met Lisa Kudrow. I started doing improv in '85. And I was very interested in that, but I was not a stand-up comic, which was considered, you have to be, it's like to drive a car, you need a license.
Yes.
What do you mean you're not a stand-up comic? Right. So
that was the mindset back then.
Yeah, and I remember at SNL, Jim Downey was always putting me in things because I was the guy who was in the room entertaining the room.
The room of writers.
Yeah, in a room full of writers, and to this day, my favorite place to be is in a room full of writers.
Yeah.
Trying to make everybody laugh and doing a dance for them or spinning out some wild thread. And so I think Lauren had seen me doing that.
Right.
He had seen me cracking up Jim Downey, and he had seen me play little utility roles and sketches here and there.
Right.
And so the notion was maybe. So he talks to me. I'm very nervous. I call Robert Smigel.
Imagine. Yeah.
Robert Smigel's initial response was, I wouldn't do it if I were you.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, listen, I'm going to...
That was for your own sake, I'm assuming.
Listen, to be honest, he was echoing everything in my head.
Yeah.
It's what everyone would say.
Yeah, he said, I wouldn't do it if I were you. And I said, and what's the reason? And he said, because that is a hard way to get into show business. Like, you're a complete unknown. The knives will be out. He said all the things that ended up, to a large degree, playing out. And he was telling me all that, and I was nodding. I remember this was a apartment on Cochrane. No, I'm sorry. Hold on. No, I'm sorry. No, not Cochrane. That was my earlier apartment. I moved around more than like Ted Bundy.
Bundy Drive.
Yeah. Bundy once said to me before he was executed, "You moved around a lot." And I'm like, you know what? That's my business. But I was on Weatherly, which is kind of near the Four Seasons Hotel.
Yeah, you could walk.
So I remember being in this, I had this little, I was a guy that didn't know how to furnish an apartment. I just wrote and ate out at Chinese food places at night and worked on my Simpson scripts, completely undeveloped male human. And I was in this little breakfast nook, and I remember very clearly the table I was sitting at, talking on this shitty little phone, and Robert saying, I don't think I would do it. And I was kind of agreeing. And in the background, I heard Michelle, his wife, say, who's fantastic. And Michelle, I just heard her in the background go, "Well, yeah, I'm alone." And I couldn't quite hear her. And I said, "What did she say?" And I heard Robert talk to her. And then he came back to the phone. He went, "Well, Michelle says, what do you have to lose?" And then I heard in the background, Michelle was like, "He should do it. What does he have to lose? He's funny." And I had this little tremor of maybe.
Yeah.
What do I have to lose? And then Robert went, "Well, that's a really good point." So I thought, well, what's the worst that could happen if I audition? I'm not going to get it, but I'm interested in this getting out in front of people. So that's when the next thing I know, I'm told by Lauren, "Okay, we're going to test you. You're to go meet Jeff Ross at the Four Seasons Hotel, which in Beverly Hills, which was like a 5-minute walk from my apartment." So I walk over. I get to the lobby first because Jeff's upstairs, beauty regimen, putting the cucumbers on his eyes.
He needed a spa hotel.
Yeah. And,
Guilty as charged.
And I'm downstairs, and there's a lobby. They've changed the lobby of the Four Seasons now. But there used to be this kind of business desk that was made of lucite.
Right.
It was like a clear plastic desk. And I was sitting at that clear plastic desk, just waiting. And then Jeff comes off the elevator. We've never met. And he walks around the corner and goes, and I go, Jeff goes, Conan? And I go, Jeff? And I go, yeah. And then I gesture to the desk and go, what do you think? Like,
True.
I could
I
be
thought you went like this.
Yeah, I kind of hit the desk and went, what do you think? And Jeff was like, I don't know. And I was like, yeah, I know. So then we talked
We
about
thought
it.
how crazy it was, honestly.
So
We
the
talked about
chemistry was off the charts.
Yeah, right away. You know what I love? My first interaction with Jeff was disinterest
Right.
and no faith in me, and nothing's changed.
He would have been looking at his cell
Not
phone if
true.
he'd had one.
There was no cell phone. No, Jeff
Yeah.
used to carry
You
a
had to
rotary
suck
phone.
you right.
Jeff had a rotary phone in his jacket.
long cord. And somebody,
Long cord. And it was always getting tangled to things. He was like, hold on, I got to check my messages.
Can you unroll me?
So,
it's just another example of how surreal the whole thing was.
It was-
Right.
You couldn't really believe in your heart it was going to happen.
Like you were probably both laughing at the
Yes.
Oh,
when
it
you
was
met
like-
each other,
yes,
right?
it was
Like,
Let's
completely
get a free
absurd.
lunch out of this.
And I have to
It's
say,
such a crazy-
I was laughing at that point because I took what Michelle, Robert's wife, said to his heart, which is, oh, what the fuck? Just try this. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen anyway.
Right.
So
You'll
it's a
probably
good
regret
experience.
not
this
doing it.
this
Yeah.
story, I mean, we could do 9 hours on this story, and I'm trying to move it along.
Yeah.
But long story short, Jeff starts to, with NBC's help, starts to put together kind of like an audition. And the only space they have to use is The Tonight Show. It's always been good luck for me. So the idea is when Jay's done with his show, he's going to leave and the crowd's going to leave. They're going to bring in another audience and I will come out and do a monologue and then interview two celebrities. And I won't know who they are till I get to Burbank.
Wow.
So Jeff was putting it together and trying to find the celebrities. And I had nothing to wear. So at the time, I call my best friend, Lisa Kudrow, and I say, Lisa, you've got to help me. And she says, don't worry, I can help you. So she took me to...
Ooh, makeover montage.
Well, it's hilarious. This is the worst makeover montage. But I had no one...
You went to Sears.
2/3 of the way through the movie, that's when they
We
happened.
went to Best Buy. And,
We went to the big and tall
we went
show.
to Fred Siegel
Oh.
down near Santa Monica. And so I have a... I have a 1992 Ford Taurus with a
think you
stick
still have
shift.
it.
Yes.
Very proud of, that we still have, by the way,
Still,
Jeff.
it's-
You know what I can't believe?
I know.
It is it's still on our budget.
Oh my
like,
God.
of the things
Store-
to pay.
store it.
Wait,
Which
what did
side
you pay it
checks?
for?
I don't want it.
That's
It's no, but I mean, it's paid off by now, isn't it?
no. Not the car.
You got to store it somewhere.
Oh, storing it.
Yeah, we bought a 50-year. I got on the 50-year plan. It's not a house,
paid
Jessie.
$12
You
a
don't get a
month.
mortgage.
It could be, you could make it an Airbnb.
So,
you could be
um,
earning money with that car.
So I pick up Lisa. We drive over to Fred Siegel, and we go to. We're walking around now. I now know things just from being in show business. I kind of know, like, they should put some makeup on me.
Yeah.
But I also know kind of when you're my coloring, what are good colors to wear. Like blues are really good.
Yeah.
They make the old blue eyes pop. And they also, what colors really help if you are very, very pale redhead. The one thing I've learned that you're not supposed to do is wear very, very pale, like white.
Uh-huh.
I should not wear that. So Lisa and I together, we committed this crime together, like Leopold and Loeb. Individually, we would not have killed, but together we did. We pick out a white linen jacket.
Oh.
A white linen jacket and like a white shirt, I think. And I throw it in the back of my Ford Taurus, which, by the way, I later found out has radiator fluid in the back,
God.
green radiator fluid, which got on some part of the jacket, but I hid. But
I
then-
love that Ford Taurus was the car you drove to do this.
So then Jeff sets this thing up,
crazy.
and we're kind of talking back and forth.
Yeah.
Then I drive. It's set up for this time. I drive to Burbank, and when I get there, you guys had worked it out. You had found Mimi Rogers
Jason Alexander.
and Jason Alexander.
Right.
As
Great.
guests.
As
Yeah.
guests.
Yeah.
And Jason Alexander, of course, doing
Seinfeld at the time.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And Mimi Rogers was doing movies,
Right.
and she had been a model, modeled, and and so
Married Tom Cruise.
they brief marriage to Tom Cruise, I believe.
Brief.
Yeah.
Worth mentioning.
Yeah. And then my first time getting interview notes. So I got research. Jeff, had asked NBC,
Right.
and they said, yeah, we can use the Tonight Show research. So I was given research that they had on file for
Right.
the last time Jason Alexander had been on the Tonight Show and the last time Mimi Rogers had been on The Tonight Show. So I go in this office and I'm just looking and I'm scribbling out my monologue, which I had been thinking about.
You had to write that?
Yeah, I had no writers.
Oh my God. How far in advance of the taping was this?
Hold on.
What
is that?
Oh my gosh.
The Vikings are landing.
He didn't mute his phone.
Oh my God! It was like a horn. It was like
It was
a Norse horn.
Yeah.
It is.
By the way, I want to use that. Get that ringtone.
I'm in the Northman. If you see the movie, I interrupt a tribal ritual with my phone. So please check out the Northman.
Please keep that in.
So
I like these are the best moments. Mike Sweeney's phone just went off, and his ringtone is a Norse horn.
He's been doing this for 25 years.
How much time
there wasn't
before
that
the
much,
taping
There wasn't
was
that much
it
time. This is maybe The Tonight Show was still going on when I got there. They were still taping it, which maybe they taped it, I don't know, 5 to 6 or something.
Right.
And so this would have been after that. I think our taping was going to start at 7, something like that. I'm going over the notes. I had come up with an idea for a monologue. Wow. It wasn't topical, which would sort of foretell the kind of comedy I liked. But it was all about the absurdity of me. And I remember the monologue was kind of, I think you can see it now, but I think I was very taken with, I need to get this job quickly because the Irish don't age well. And it's a theme I've been working a lot.
I was going to say, holy cow.
And I was like, my face is acceptable for television now, but as Ted Kennedy is proof that my face is going to expand. So I had this whole, what I remember most is then it's time to do it. It's really surreal. Jeff's over at the podium and we go, there's no band or anything. And I come out, and I was immediately surprisingly comfortable. I was just I had always liked being on stage. Yeah. And I was very comfortable doing the monologue. And then I slid over. And the minute I got behind the desk, I was just kind of happy. Mm-hmm. And so Mimi Rogers came out first. And then Jason Alexander was second.
I don't know if you remember this, but in between the two, it was like a commercial break, like a fake commercial break.
What happened?
At a script packet. I guess it was the research or something. Yeah. I don't know if you remember this. I wrote and I just scribbled on the back, "You're killing."
Yeah.
And I slid it in front of him.
And what he did was he
looked.
Yeah,
it's called producing
or something.
people.
I don't know if you
still have
that.
That's long.
No, we shredded everything immediately.
Right. Jeff wanted
we were like the We were like the Germans as the Russians came. We were just shredding and burning everything. But yes, I remember that very clearly. And what I remember is the monologue went well, and I just felt comfortable doing it. It was very me.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to tell jokes about Clinton or I was just...
And you're doing great ice breaking for that audience to you knew that they didn't know who you were.
Well, also to let them overcome the shock of this is a very pale man wearing a white linen jacket with radiator stains on the back. But then I cross over and I talked to Mimi Rogers.
That went well.
And what I remember was there was a moment, which if you look at late night moments since... Mm-hmm. or whatever, you'd think, well, this isn't that, it was fine.
Right.
But what happened was you got to see kind of, for a second, I think, a Conan-y, I was very myself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So Mimi Rogers is talking and I'm interviewing her. My posture's terrible. My hair's all droopy. I'm wearing this awful jacket and I'm listening to her. And then she said, I model. And she said, and a lot of people say, modeling's easy, but it's a tough job. And I was being polite and agreeing, going, yeah. No, I can see. And then I just stop myself and I go, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. A tough job is like turning a big crank.
Right.
And I mimed turning a big crank. That's a tough job, turning a big crank. And people laughed and it was very spontaneous. And the Jason Alexander went, well, but that was a moment of me just interrupting and then almost acting out a cartoon image.
Comedy,
And, inserting my personality into the situation. Right. And then it ended, and I went with, I think Lisa and I went to, I wish I could...
back to Fred Siegel.
Yeah, we went back to Fred Siegel to sue them.
The jacket.
To sue them. Right. And we put the jacket back on the shelf.
I don't know how that stain got
and
there.
I said, I can't...
It came like that.
I can't wear this.
There were cell phones then. Because I remember driving away.
They were huge.
A car phone, yeah.
And I was in the car, and Lauren calls me and says, that went well. And I went, yeah, because he was watching in New York. Mm-hmm. And he goes, but it's going to be Shandling.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. So right away, now, this is...
Which I kind of knew.
No.
Yeah. So,
that they were talking.
So I had done this thing, and this thing, I have to say the audition made me really want to do it, because I thought...
Yeah.
I was like a duck that had never been put in water. Mm-hmm. And suddenly I was like, oh, that felt
Right.
And I'm not used to feeling good about anything.
And it'll only go well.
Yeah, exactly. It'll only go that well.
But you had a total flip where you're like, now I want this.
I was excited, but I couldn't even let myself think that yet. So I was excited, but I couldn't get myself to that point yet. But I remember we went out to Kate Mantilini. Remember Kate Mantilini, that restaurant that's on Wilshire? I went there with Lisa, and everyone was really excited. And then I was 29 at the time. And my 30th birthday was about a week and a half away. I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then when my 30th, I'd go back to The Simpsons, and it was just, well, get back to work.
Yeah.
And, and then I had a conversation a couple of days later. Lauren called me, and I was in my car. So you're right, there were giant car phones, but, I was in my car, and Lauren called me. He loves to break bad news over a phone in a car. And he told me, you were great.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll never forget, he said, Bob Wright loved your interview, and he loved the whole crank thing. When you did the crank thing, he loved that. And I remember thinking, who the fuck is Bob Wright? I don't know who Bob Wright is. I didn't know who Bob Wright was. And I said, and he said, Bob Wright loves it, and Suzanne really loves it. And I said, well, who are they? And Lauren was like, what are you talking about? He's the president of...
He ran the network.
He ran the network of NBC. And he and his wife, they expressed them this videotape out in Connecticut. And they watched it, and they're like, we like this weird Irish kid with the funny name.
Yeah.
And that crank thing, man, that really cracked us up. And
They're
I'm like,
still talking.
Yeah. And so, but then he called me later on and said, the same thing that he had told Jeff. He said, look, it's not going to be you. You're not going to get 12:30, but you did yourself a lot of good, and they're probably going to give you like 1:30. And I remember thinking, well, that would be great because there's no pressure.
Right.
If I get 1:30, there's no pressure. And wait a minute, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never
Then
forget.
you started wanting that.
Yeah. I still want 1:30. I'd take that now.
No one will give it to you.
But I hung up the phone, and I was with Lisa, and Lisa's like, well, that's, so you're not going to get 12:30. And I said, I don't think the Shenning's going to happen. And she said, well, Lauren just told you it's going to happen. And I said, I don't know why, but I just said, it doesn't make sense to me. Gary is a peer of Dave's. And he's killing it with his own show, Larry Sanders.
Yeah.
And he's getting all of this critical acclaim and awards for making fun of the form.
Right.
Who wants to go in every day and try and do it?
Yeah.
And I said, it's not going to be Shandling. I don't think Shandling's going to do it. I think it doesn't make any sense to me. He's too cautious. He's too smart. He's not going to want to go in every day and figure this out. And sure enough, that's what ended up happening.
Yeah. I think I told the story, but I was out for lunch or something. I had an office at Broadway Video in New York. And I come back and I had all these messages when they used to be like paper messages that you would, And they were all people that had something to do with, it was just obvious. I was like, holy shit, he got it.
Oh, wow.
And how long? It was just a couple of weeks after?
What was it?
Well, I remember one of the last things I remember from the old life, the black and white portion of Wizard of Oz. Before I opened the cabin door, what I remember really well is I had a birthday party. It was when I turned 30. And I had it at my apartment on Weatherly. Apartment on the second floor was a sort of a duplex old 1920s place. And all my friends at The Simpsons and my writer friends came over, and everyone brought gag gifts. Like someone brought me Arsenio's had written a book, like his and people.
So they all knew that you were in this process.
That was no gag.
Everyone knew that I was in this process, and everyone was talking about it, but it was kind of funny. Like, oh yeah, well, here's your how-to book by Arsenio, and everybody's and Jeff was there, and we had this nice birthday party, which was April 18th, 1993, and then it was I
was like, see ya.
It was
see you. I'm going back to New York.
Yeah, Jeff's going back to New York, and I'm get on with my life. And it's in the back of my mind that something might happen, but I don't know what. And I want to say it's maybe I could look up the exact date, but it may have been a week later. I'm in a record at The Simpsons. It was in the basement in the building on the Fox lot. And the way you do a record is there's a table read first, so the whole cast is there, and we go through the script. And then it's done and everyone applauds. And then what happens is we quickly talk about what changes may need to be made before they start doing the record. And the writers are all going to work that out, make these changes as they're recording to try and tighten it up just a little more. And I remember we had just finished and we're starting to talk about it when there's a phone call. And someone in the room said, Conan, the phone's for you. and I picked it up and I put the phone to my ear, and it's Gavin Pallone, who's still my manager. I've been with him forever. He said, "You got 12:30."
Oh my God.
And I don't know why, but I went, and I said this not in a celebratory way. I said it in a defeated way. He said, "You got 12:30," and I went, "I know." Because I just had this.
You had a premonition.
I just knew for some fucking reason.
It wasn't over.
Especially
so
once you didn't want it. Then you're definitely
hung up
getting
the phone. Yeah, I hung up the phone and I start to quietly walk out of the room. I didn't say anything to anybody. Leave the room. I walk up the stairs. I walk outside, and I was told by Gavin. I said, "I know," and then he said, "Don Olmer's calling you in like 5 minutes in your office." And I hung up. And I start walking, and then I start going into a slight, it's very cinematic, but I start walking fast, then I start running, and I run to my office, and then he's saying, "Okay, here's the plan. You got it, kid. I think it's all crazy, but you got it. Now, here's the idea." He said, "You're going on the Tonight Show tonight, because I'm sick of us getting scooped.
What?
They've scooped us the whole time. We're going to flip the script on the media." He had this very like combative, sporty kind of, so he said, "Jay's going to just say, we got the new host for the late night show. Here he is, and you're going to walk out there, and you're just going to," and he said, "kick it in the balls, and really show him who's who." And I'm just the kid that just came out of a record.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he's like, "Shut up. Get in your car and get over to NBC right now before the press finds out." So the next thing I know, I'm driving over to, and I'm in a total panic. And then, sure enough, Jay calls me out, and I remembered Robert, and I think this is good. Robert was like, "Don't take any big swings."
Right.
Because the worst thing that I could do in
Michelle in the background's going, "I was kidding."
Yeah. She was like, you have a lot to lose.
Oh, no.
The Simpsons is a good gig.
Yeah. So what Robert said.
I just basically went out there and went, it's real, and Jay was like, "Well, good luck to you," and then whatever. And
played it straight.
I just played it straight. And I remembered people were like, "Well, if that's the new host of Late Night." And I was like, he didn't come out and kill. And I think Ohlmeyer really wanted me to go out there and say, "All right, everybody, now listen to this," and
that's
do the Craig
incredibly
thing again.
Smart.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, I was
not there. I was in New York.
Back in New York.
I was in New York.
And did you
had
tune
to start
in?
producing.
I did.
Did you guys talk before he went on?
I don't think we probably.
I don't think so.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
not sure if we did it. I don't remember.
All right. So then what happened next with you two?
We had to figure out how to make a show.
Support for today's episode comes from Square, the system powering like half the places you go. Hello.
Yeah.
If you've ever tapped to pay and thought, "Whoa, that was fast," it was probably Square. Whether you're selling lattes, cutting hair, detailing cars, or running a design studio, Square helps you run your business without running yourself into the ground. Square is the platform behind the scenes of so many businesses you already love. It gets them connected to a system to make payments, manage inventory, run payroll, send invoices, track it all in one place. This isn't just a point of sale. Square includes hardware that works in person and on the go. I mean, it's incredible. I see Square all the time when I go out there.
Me too.
And I'm out there a lot.
Yeah, you are out there. You're out there on the streets.
Yeah, with the streets, with the people, and I am doing business. I'm bartering, I'm exchanging, and all the time they use Square. And you know what? It's fast and it's easy, and I wish it existed in an earlier time.
Yeah.
Would have really helped us. If you're starting a business or running one that deserves better tools, Square helps you sell, manage, and grow without slowing down. Right now, you can get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/Conan. That's SQUARE.com/GO/Conan. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today. The World Cup is all about what's next, the future of the sport, the player nobody saw coming who suddenly becomes a star.
Mm-hmm.
Very exciting. Hyundai, official partner of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, believes the next starts now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever think about that, how the next starts now?
I think about it all the time.
Me too. Now, personally, I don't know what's next for me. I hope it's that I become inventor of some amazing piece of tech.
Oh, boy.
And it explodes and I become this legendary tech CEO giant.
Okay.
But I'm just waiting around for that to happen.
Yeah,
I'm not good at tech and I don't know anything about it.
You have trouble with all tech.
Yeah, I do. But for Hyundai, they're not like me. They're not sitting around waiting for some impossible thing to happen. They're building it now.
Nice.
With innovative vehicles, advanced technology, and by helping support the next generation of soccer stars. Or, as many people say, football.
Yeah.
From cars to robotics, they didn't come to the 2026 FIFA World Cup to play around. Instead, they're looking ahead, growing, evolving. The future of football and Hyundai isn't coming, it's already here.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible? Hyundai, official partner of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Discover everything you need for outdoor living at Paragold. Discover the largest ever selection of design's best brands all in one place. Paragold has it all, from ready-to-ship outdoor furniture to weatherproof lighting, accents, serveware, rugs, and beyond, in every style from traditional to modern. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's classy, it looks good. I wish I had known about this place back in the day
Yeah.
when I was allowed to buy things.
Okay. I was like, you know now.
Paragold offers fast, free, full-service delivery on most items, and they also offer free design services virtually or in-store in Houston or West Palm Beach. That's nice.
Yeah.
Because I'm so bad at making these decisions. Having someone around who's got some sense, isn't, whacked out like me,
Yeah.
and can tell me what to do, that would be very helpful.
Yes.
Meet with a dedicated designer for free expert help with every size project. Shop in store and online at paragold.com. This is a paid ad by BetterHelp. All of us learn about stigmas when we were a kid, things we're probably not supposed to talk about,
Yes.
things we're not supposed to share, maybe be a little ashamed of.
Yep.
Even in 2026, stigma can get in the way of a lot of things, like getting support for your mental health. Unbelievably, that's still an issue for people.
Yes.
Maybe you've encouraged friends to consider therapy while avoiding taking the first step yourself because you're busy, or you're worried what others would think, or you're telling yourself you can handle it alone.
Yeah.
This is a situation where you can't do it alone. You need to talk to someone else. But therapy with BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform, can be a space to slow down and talk through what's been building before it feels unmanageable. Here's how it works. You just take a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will handle the initial therapist matching work for you. That's huge. Their industry-leading match rate means BetterHelp typically gets it right the first time. You can feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct. We have never had that here at the show. And unlike us, they are fully qualified. Don't let hesitation hold you back. Find support with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Conan. That's betterhelp.com/Conan.
And Conan came back to New York, got a place.
The crazy thing is I had to go, they wanted to introduce me to the press in the Rainbow Room.
Yeah.
That was the first big hurdle. Was I had to immediately come east. It was not clear because then NBC started to get into it with Fox, and Fox was like, excuse me, he's under contract.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, this 1 in a billion year accident
Yeah.
just
Yes,
happened
hello.
where one of your writers is going to get to. And it wasn't, again, I want to be clear, it was not The Simpsons. The Simpsons were really great about it, but there was an executive at Fox who was saying, no, I don't. So NBC and I think you had
to pay money.
I had to pay money, and NBC had to pay money to get me out of my Simpsons contract.
Wow.
That's crazy because
Yeah, I
at
can't
the
believe
time these shows were making so much money, and they were nickel and diming every little thing you could think of. It was
That's how they made
was
it.
They
insane.
weren't happy
Extra
for
moolah.
you.
No,
Yeah.
but
You had a line at the press conference.
yes,
What was it?
the press conference had very much the feel of, we all met. It was going to be in the Rainbow Room, which is the top of Rockford Center, and
Right.
everyone from the press corps was going to be there, and I was going to go out and meet the press, and we all met at Lauren's apartment, and the NBC people were there, and then we walked through the park.
Yep.
It is now early May. We're walking through the park, and I'm seeing Rockford Center get closer and closer and closer, and I know that I have to go to the top of this tower and then meet the nastiest press in the history
Also
of media.
This is cinematic as well.
Yeah, and so we're walking there, and then as we are getting to 30 Rock, trying to keep it light and trying to stay loose, a reporter comes up to me and he says, I forget if he said he was from the Post or Newsweek, but he said, hey, Conan, my job is, I was at Letterman's. Letterman had a press conference for his new CBS show at Radio City like the week before, and of course being, he killed, destroyed.
Right.
He said, I was at Letterman's press conference last week, and I know how many laughs he got, and my job is to count how many laughs you get and see how you stack up.
And he
he told me that as we were going through on the north side.
That should be illegal.
Right in between Radio City and Rockefeller Center. We were going in right there, and he was like, "My job's to count how many laughs." So it was literally like, "Good luck, Spartacus," in the ring.
Wow.
So I go up there. Lauren talks briefly, and then and there's a shot. I mean, Vanity Fair covered it at the time, and there's a great the iconic photographer Annie Leibovitz took a shot of me, a reverse shot. I'm in the front, and it's the entire press corps and explosion of photographs.
Oh, wow.
And as I said, I'm a week and a half earlier. I was in the room at The Simpsons.
Right. It's still not real.
No, but I remember that the thing that saved my ass was I get up to the microphone.
I know, now I remember.
And Stuttering John from the Howard Stern show is there. Yep. And he's wearing he's wearing a fake mustache and fake glasses and like a wig. And so he goes like, Conan. He said, "Who did you have to sleep with to get this job?" And I just said, "No one I wasn't sleeping with before. Next question." And everybody laughed. And then I was like, hey, that's Stuttering John. John, take off the wig. Because his job was to fuck with me.
Yeah.
And I was loving it. And anytime he'd say something, I'd be like, I would have fun with it. And then I was like, "John, come on, take off the..." And it ended up...
Wasn't there somebody said to you something about being a relative unknown?
No, you're he said, "Sir, aren't you a relative unknown?" And he said,
"How is it?
Conan, aren't you a relative unknown?" I said, "Sir, I am a complete unknown." And then people were like,
great.
That's great. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Foolishly, the press conference went really well. And the take was, well, he's funny and it could work.
That's
and
all you wanted.
He got 3 laughs.
He got 3 laughs.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm dying to hear that. The count. I want to dig up that article. But you did a thing that you've done every time since, I think, where you have an event is like if you can find one person
to play
as a through line and to play off of, and you've always been great at.
I always try and find who's going to be my foil,
right?
Yeah.
And then use them as the through line. And Stuttering John was there, and he was my foil. And to make things even crazier, that event's over. And the first thing I hear is Bob Wright of We Love the Crank. Bob Wright's having a 50th birthday party in Connecticut, and they want you to go up and be one of the people who
doesn't stop.
No, one of the people who speaks, and it's in 3 days. And I said, okay. So I come up with an idea for what I could do, and I worked on it with Robert. I get in a town car with Lorne, because he's coming too, and we drive out to this nice part of Connecticut, and we walk into this very fancy country club where there's a big party, and I recognize all these famous people. Yeah. There's all these people from the Today Show and all these people from all the different NBC shows are there to salute Bob Wright on his 50th, and my job is to get up and speak. And I get there, and who's standing ramrod straight in the corner but Johnny Carson.
Oh, God.
And I am the opener.
This guy can't catch a break.
I am the opener for Johnny Carson. And my previous experience is I did some pretty good improv at the Groundlings and thought of one good quip with Mimi Rogers. And so he's standing there and he's wearing sunglasses inside, I remember, and he just looked, it's Johnny Carson. Right. It's the biggest thing. And suddenly I'm being introduced to him, and I said, I called him Mr. Carson, and he went, "Please, call me Johnny." And I went, "Oh, Johnny." And he seemed kind of quiet and reserved, so I didn't say that much to him. And then I got up, and I think the idea that I went with was giving a toast about someone I clearly don't know. So it was like, what can I tell you about, Bob Wright? And it was, all the jokes were things like, he's, I think, 5'9". He is and it's clear I've just looked stuff up on Wikipedia, which actually didn't exist.
No.
Had that experience, and then he applauded and gave a little good for you kind of.
Yeah.
That was okay. It was fine. And
it was no crank.
Yeah, it was no crank. Yeah.
And you said, "Follow that, Carson."
Yeah, I should have totally been like, "And now fucking Johnny Carson going to try and
let's see it."
But then he got up and of course blew the lid off the place. But that was how rapidly insane things were happening. It was like Rainbow Room, meet the New York press, and be confronted by Stuttering John, off to open for Johnny Carson. And it was just this cavalcade of craziness, I remembered. And then it was go meet all the affiliates. I had to go around the United States and meet affiliates.
That seems at least like...
that's no fun.
Seems like a cool down period compared to what you just described.
The one point I would make that I'm still blown away by is that this process of bullshittery that had to happen of press and affiliates and birthday parties, and by the time that's over, it's late May, early June, and our start date was September 13th.
Right. Yeah.
No band, no writers. It's myself and Jeff.
Just
no
Jeff
bookers.
Ross.
Yeah.
No set. They've completely taken out the Letterman set, and so there's just 6A is just an empty concrete rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that never makes sense to me is how quickly, today when I hear about someone doing a show, it's like, well, you'll see it in 6 months, you'll see it in a year, and I've got to figure the idea that they found the person with the least experience in the history of the medium and said, you can really get started on June 1st.
Right.
I wasn't
After
exactly.
the press tour.
I wasn't exactly experienced at doing a late night talk show.
Mm-mm.
I'd done a lot of different types of shows.
You did and Kids in the Hall, but that's a totally different pre-taped.
There is nothing. Well, there were only 2 or 3 shows of that kind at the time, so I had no experience.
So you were both learning.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So who did you turn to for
I didn't
advice?
Really.
Lauren, he's probably pretty busy.
No, a little bit of Lauren. Lauren. There was we had a lot of Saturday Night Live people helping us, and in different variations of helping and not helping. I don't know if they were trying to kill us or what, but that's a whole nother episode.
You realize this is 9 podcasts.
Yes.
And we sort of we had to sort
haven't
of
even gotten to
I
1993.
I knew a lot of those people because I'd worked with them before, and we sort of managed our way through that. And the process of getting a band was insane. The process of getting a cell built was insane.
There is a story, crazy story behind everything, and moments of true despair, to the point of there were, I think, maybe 7 different times just in that summer where I fantasized, no joke, about getting hurt. I didn't want to die. Like I didn't want to, but I remembered very clearly thinking if I was hit by a car, it was very clear to me that it can't be my fault. But if something were to happen to me and I'd been badly injured, I'd be off the hook.
That might be ideal. Yeah.
And that might be a good way. And so
I would also want an induced coma. I would.
Yes.
I just would want to check out.
It was generous. It was Robert Morton, who at the time was producing the Letterman show. He was generous.
Yeah,
he was a friend of mine.
Nice.
He was,
you were already friends.
That's great.
But he was generous about it.
And was there an early moment you two remember being thrown into this where there was like things you bonded over in particular?
We've never bonded.
No,
8 minutes ago.
Want you to hug.
8 minutes ago, I really started to think, this Jeff Ross guy, there's something to him.
My whole thing was just try to make it as easy as possible for Conan.
Right.
Just try to keep him away from all the bullshit. And at that time, it was kind of impossible because there were a lot of opposing forces.
Right.
And people who were less than helpful when they were made like they were being helpful. It was just a lot of craziness going on.
Passive aggressive, I'm sure.
A lot of craziness.
And I think and this is where I really have to, I think I've tried to say this a lot in my career and on my last TBS show, but it can't be said enough. The 2 big things that had to happen were initiated and made possible by Lorne. So first of all, there's this weird opening in the universe. I always make fun of Marvel movies because I hate a portal that opens in the sky. I always think it's a portal opened and lazy writing came in from another direction, another dimension. And so, but this weird portal opened in the sky where there was a second where this big TV job was kind of in play. And Lorne, for whatever reason, and I still maintain he may have fucked up, said, Conan O'Brien. Now, that's huge because Lorne was the only person in show business who had that power, one of the only people. And he's also clearly saw something and said, I think he could do it. Probably regretted it almost immediately. And I've actually told this when I went back to SNL a couple of months ago. I said, I'm sure you regretted that immediately. And he was like, no, but I could tell But in fairness to Lorne, he did that. And then the second thing he did was he said, Jeff Ross. And my dad, over the years, who likes to ask a question more than once the same question. Would over the years go like, now how did Jeff get into the equation? And I would always say, well, Lorne was the one who brought Jeff in. And he would go like, well, Jeff is very key. And I go, yes, Jeff's the key, and then, I'd count a year and a half. He'd be like, now tell me, how did Jeff, that's important because Jeff is he seems to complement your energy. Yes, that's right, Dad. We've talked about this several times. Yeah, shut up.
Is Lisa Kudrow still buying your clothes?
Yeah. Whatever happened to Lisa Kudrow? Well, a year later, she gets, I'm not done with my question. Anyway, but Lorne, by just moving his pinky, he says, well, it's Conan O'Brien and it's Jeff Ross.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do think those are two massive key moves. And then the third move that needed to happen at the beginning was Robert Smigel. And I pushed for that. And of course, I only knew Robert because of SNL, where I'd worked with him for all these years. And I knew that he had the sensibility, like we used to talk about this. We used to talk about comedy. And I knew that Robert kind of had to be there. And Lorne, I think was reluctant to lose Robert from SNL. And that was a whole story. But when you think about it, the three main players that needed to happen for everything else to happen really come through
right
Lorne
at the top
and SNL, and they happen fairly quickly. And then the rest is, I always think it's one of those movies, like you start with Robin Hood and he's walking through the forest, and then, he starts fighting with someone on a stream, and it's Friar Tuck, you're with me. And then you pick up people as you go. I think of it as Jeff and I pretty much start the journey out together, and Robert's there almost immediately. Then it's the three of us, and then it's this whole odyssey
of merry men.
Literally Jeff Garland saying, "Hey, check out this guy Andy Richter," and we do, and I have lunch with him, and meet him at a deli, as I've said many times, and he came in, and I immediately, a lot of it's instinctual, but immediately I was like, this guy needs to be part of this adventure, because he's fantastic.
You were like Lorne all of a sudden. You were just like, this guy.
The stuff that's fascinating to me is those initial elements are the fascinating part. And then everything else is a good story. And you guys have done a great job of mining these incredible stories, because we put together, because it happened so quickly and so strangely, we put together a group of people that didn't know anything about TV and really didn't have experience. And then we ended up, we inherited our crew from Letterman's old show.
A lot of them,
And Dave did a very different kind of show. And suddenly we're telling 62-year-old cameramen who've never had to move, we've got a funny idea where Conan races down 6th Avenue and you follow him. And they were like, how about you go fuck yourself?
I'll be on a break.
Yeah. And once you hit September 13th, when we premiere 93, the next 2 years is us.
Year and a half.
2.5.
No, year and a half too, I think.
No, I think
it was over
solid 2 years of, we're in terrible, terrible danger of being canceled any second. We were just canceled at one point, but also justified fear, because we were.
I mean, you've said it was week to week for a while, and then it was almost day to day.
All we did was, this was the way I felt, is I had visors on. I was like one of those horses.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You still are very you're still very horse-like.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
We give Jeff a sugar cube after every anecdote. He gets a sugar bag.
I could use one now if this goes much longer.
Oh my God. Jeff, we haven't even gotten to your side.
But you know what I'm saying?
All this. We're going to go back and retell the whole story through
but you
voice.
realize that this is...
You just have to put your head down and not pay attention to a lot of things. Just go forward.
I mean, I think it's just... I still, to this day, cannot believe that somehow we got away with it. I don't...
100%.
And, one thing I wanted to say, I had one of the surreal moments just pop into my head, and one of them was... We move in and we take over these offices. They were offices that had been like an insurance company or something, but that ended up being our late night offices for all those 16 years. And we move in and there's nobody yet. I mean, literally there's myself and Jeff.
We had offices on the opposite. Remember the opposite corners?
Yeah. Jeff.
And there was nobody else there.
Jeff took
you were literally 100 feet apart.
We had two corners.
At least 100 feet apart. But Jeff had the offices that looked at the sign for Radio City on the north side, and I had the south side. I was down like where the writers are, and Jeff was up where it's, all the adults who make the show really work are up on that side, and I was with the idiots. And but at the time, there's no one's there yet. People we're in the process of hiring people. So you could look it up, but Dave winds up his last late night show, probably sometime in June, I'm guessing. And where am I? I'm on the 9th floor in my office, and I'm watching the feed. Yeah. And I'm watching Dave record his last show.
Just 3 floors below you.
3 floors below me, and he's recording it in the studio that I'm going to take over. Mm-hmm. But we haven't even gotten started yet. And I'm sitting there watching it. And so Dave does this amazing last show, and then Bruce Springsteen comes out and does Glory Days.
Right.
And I'm in my office watching this, and then it ends, and Dave does his final words, and he says, I'm moving on, but this has been and he says, the last thing he says is, and Conan O'Brien, I don't know much about the man, but I believe he shot somebody once, which would always get a...
Sure.
And then he said, I hope someday he has me on his show. That'd be nice. Anyway, good night. That ends, and I'm like, for the first time, as long as Dave was on the air, I felt this isn't real.
Yeah.
It's down
once
the road.
He left, suddenly it's like, you're up, kid.
Oh, wait.
Right.
Put on
DiMaggio just left the batter's box. He just hit a home run.
Yeah.
You're up.
Yeah, hope you're warm.
Oh, here I am.
Also, we went.
Bat feels heavy.
We went down there after the show.
I was going to get to that, yeah.
And what was surreal to me, first of all, they're all there.
Who's they? Joe just
Springsteen was down there. They were all. Everybody was down there.
No. But it's like Letterman's
Dave.
just done his last show, so there's a whole thing. Yeah. Bruce is in the hall wearing like a flannel shirt and having a bottle of literally he had like a beer bottle because someone had put beer out.
It's a prop.
And it was just filled with La Croix. It had La Croix water in it.
Part of his look.
Give me my La Croix that looks like beer. So Dave was in this little tiny dressing room, and someone said, you should go in there. Suddenly I'm in a tiny, tiny room with David Letterman just done his last show. And he wishes me well, and I said, that was really amazing, and, well, I should go and start making the show that will replace your iconic show, I suppose. And I walk outside, and Tom Hanks was a guest on the last show. And Tom Hanks is there with his wife, Rita. And Tom looks at me, and I knew him from being a writer on SNL. And he used to call Robert, Bob Odenkirk, and I, and Greg Daniels, the Boiler Room Boys. He'd be like, hey, fellas, we're the Boiler Room fellas. Get over here, fellas. Yeah. And so he was like, he looked at me and he stared right through me and like put his hands on my shoulders and he said, what's just happened to you doesn't happen.
Wow.
It never happens. And I don't know exactly how to take that, but and I don't think he meant anything, but he was pretty much saying, this is kind of unprecedented in show business history. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go now. Good luck with that.
Don't fuck this up.
Yeah. I also remember being...
That I remember very clearly.
I also remember being in that hallway, and immediately they were ripping the set out.
Oh, my God.
And I was just watching them rip the set out.
And shitting on the floor.
Pretty much. And just going... And our set experience had a little to be desired, with that first set. And we're going through all that. I'm watching the set being ripped out. And I'm just like, oh, my God.
Wow.
Oh, that's real.
We just got to figure it out.
So it was empty by probably the next 2 days later.
Yeah.
There's a thing.
I think that night.
There's a thing you hear about a lot back before there were rules and laws about childcare, that if you wanted to teach a child to swim, you would just take the child and throw him into the deep end of the pool. Yeah. This was like, I'm taking the child into a C-47 plane and throwing them out into the Arctic waters. Yes. And the worst thing about it all was like, I think if it had been done to me, my psychological response would have been, if I was told by the government, your name's been selected randomly and you have to replace Letterman and this is your job to save America, I would have had a very different attitude about it. But in my own fucked up Catholic way, I think I was very much, you asked for this, asshole.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
you got what you wanted.
You got what you wanted, fucker. Now let's see. You put yourself in this position. You said yes because someone just had to host a talk show. And the voice in my head is far more punitive than anything anyone can ever say to me. And so I just beat the shit out of myself all the time. Yeah. And I now think that the crazy thing about when I look at the audition or the times I've seen it since, I was more relaxed in the audition than I was on television because
that makes sense.
Psychologically, I'm being asked to try out. Well, I'll do my part.
Yeah.
I'm not
Nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. And then the minute it's I took it very seriously.
Yes.
And it just took me a while for the volume. It was literally the volume and the amount of work we were doing and the volume of shows. And it's getting Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 Hours the hard way in front of everybody.
In front of it.
In front of everybody. And so
part of it to
you
me.
could probably watch some program could probably take 3 images a show from every show the first 2 years and speed them up. And you would literally see somebody, my skeletal structure would change from the sheer, I wanted it to work. I was not going to not work.
Right.
I was remember thinking it was, this is going to work because it has to work because being a joke trivia question is not an option.
Right. Yeah. But to me, just learning to do that on the job, because you mentioned like Tina Fey and Seth, like, yes, they were writer background, but then they had all this performance experience kind of under the radar.
At Second City.
Almost everyone in television started, Letterman was a weatherman and even that.
Yeah,
it's just that little practice.
Just be in front of a camera.
Right. And
to be fair, I used to go to department stores a lot that were selling televisions, and they used to have a video camera, and I would do the thing where I swear to God, I had spent a lot of time.
Impressed.
Yeah, I had really
take it back.
Really gotten my chops. But it was
Floor 5.
Yeah, it is a very improbable story, and what's crazy to me is that's the beginning.
Yeah.
And we've told you 1/20th of the good stuff because there's so much insanity that happened, and we're saving that for the book. But that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
And you could believe and then finally the ship righted itself and went off to have a pleasant career. We haven't gotten to the Tonight Show. That is in every way as insane and unprecedented and crazy and counterintuitive as the beginning.
Yes.
And that happens 16 years later.
Yes. Yeah, what I was going to say was...
Isn't that crazy?
What's fascinating is we told this part of the story, and then I was about to say, and then we went up those elevators in the coolest building that you could do television in the world for the next 16 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The volume of stuff and the variety of things that we tried, I can't even... I see it now and I have no connection to it. Yeah. So, we used to do a piece where we would do a whole soap opera in front of the audience and with famous people.
John Lithgow did it once.
John Lithgow did it, Martin Sheen did it. And we would have people in the audience wear a green sock.
A green screen.
Green screen over their head so that we could drop them in and put their heads on the bodies of actors who were there so that the audience would have an audience member who just showed up.
Yeah.
Paula's looking at me horrified.
No recollection.
Yeah, Paula Davis is here.
It's one of the first hires.
Stay in your seat.
That's one of the early hires.
It was called Paula Davis, one of the first people we hired to be our booker, and she's sitting here. And Paula, you don't even remember this. You booked it. You booked.
She didn't know you hosted.
Yeah, I'm Conan, by the way. She's like, "Where's Corden?" I'm like, "Okay, we'll get to that." But
his American accent is impressive.
There are maybe 75 to 100 sketches or more that someone could tell me we did. And I would say don't do that. How would that even work? And Stay in Your Seat Theater, it was called, so that...
It was putting out a newspaper every day, and there was you could never not move the clock back.
And then in the middle of that, somebody says, let's do the show on the Circle Line.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get a Circle Line.
Right.
Well,
I
a Circle Line boat.
That.
Yeah, for the boats that go around Manhattan.
Yep.
But I have to say, Robert gets a lot of credit for. Robert has large eyes. There's that old saying my grandmother used to say, if you didn't finish your food, she'd say, well, your eyes were bigger than your stomach.
Right.
Yeah.
And Robert has creatively huge eyes. Let's rent a Zeppelin.
Yes.
Let's fill it with cheddar cheese. Let's get Paula to book.
And he makes it happen.
Yeah, and let's get Paula. He wills it through an insane, and things get crazy and hairy, and there are fist fights, and there's shouting. And maybe people get killed during the sketch. Who knows? But the whole thing was there was this when we were really taking heat early on,
Right.
through at 93, and people are, at the time, there were reviews that said things like, it would be really nice if, Conan died, and it'd be great if Andy died with him. Just people were just very upset by it. And that was actually in print, I think, once. But
Your hometown paper.
yeah.
Your father wrote
Exactly. I was going to say, written by Dr. Thomas O'Brien. If he died, it wouldn't be his fault. You see,
He never adequately explained Jeff Ross to me.
Yeah,
And now he must be punished.
But there was a time when I think even Lorne was saying, couldn't you just interview people, and couldn't it be like
There's a lot of that.
because our comedy was very aggressive and aggressively strange, and I think still looks that way. And they thought, well, this Conan guy, he cleans up nice and he's affable.
Right.
Why can't he just be affable and chat with people? And that way,
And sell the product.
Do the crank.
There's less sticky edges. Instead, Conan's yodeling and he's wearing a bikini, and Andy's dressed as a monkey, and there's a punk rock element to it, like it or go fuck yourself, and.
But one of the great things about that, when you wound up your show on TBS last year, were all these successful, like Seth Rogen and all these other big names who this wouldn't even occur to you at the time. You were just trying to do a show every night.
Yeah.
They all ate the feast of all this comedy you were making.
We're like,
and it
finally someone's
influenced
making
them.
comedy for me, I think is how people felt.
That must have been very satisfying.
It was, but I have to say, I don't know how you felt, Jeff, but I mean, and so many people, I'm very, I think the thing that gratifies me the most is that, the haters and Mulaney's and all these people who are so crazy talented and good at what they do and brilliant, and they say nice things about and what our show meant to them back in the day, and my immediate response is, couldn't you have said anything? Because nothing
you
was
were old enough to write.
Yeah, like
At
couldn't
the
you have written
time.
us
Why weren't you a Nielsen
Dear
household?
Mr. O'Brien.
Well, in fairness to that, there were a couple of situations where somebody's kids,
Yes.
they were hearing, like executives who I can't remember.
I
who
remember
it
who it
was. Who was it?
There was a guy who, and again, this is probably for another installment, but there was a guy who was sort of hired to kick us in the ass and, let's get this thing moving again. I mean, we got to figure this out. And it was like an episode of a sitcom where a character comes in, a drill sergeant moves in with the family, and boy, does he turn things upside down. But I remembered him telling us, you got to pull this together, you got to Then he went off to visit I believe it was his son, who went to Boston College. So he went to visit his son, and he was hanging out in the dorm, and he's like, so guys, tell me, what is everybody watching these days? What are the kids loving? And he said the dorm room was like, Conan.
Wow.
And he was saying, no, seriously,
no.
seriously. Do you guys like Jag?
No, that
and they were,
show's on its way out.
do you guys like Caroline in the City, right? And they were like, no, it's we watch Conan. It's so great and weird. And to his credit, he did repeat that. He told me. He didn't have to tell me, but he told me.
Well, he was going to take credit for it.
I mean, in the end, that's probably the kind of thing that saved us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing that saved us was nobody was paying attention. We could just do whatever we wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it became...
After the initial rush.
I think what helped save us is that we were in New York.
Yeah.
And had we been in Los Angeles, where they could come in, if we had been in Los Angeles, they could have been there every day, and they would have seen me putting on an octopus costume.
Right.
And us putting a green felt sock over Martin Sheen's head.
Right.
And they would have said, stop. We just saw that on the feed.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Have Dick Cavett on and interview him and be pleasant, you motherfucker. And instead, and also I think we were a car accident. People stayed away from us for a while because no one wanted to own it. And we have to give a shout out to someone who was a real stalwart, Rick Ludwin, who is no longer with us. Rick Ludwin was the NBC executive in charge of late night. And he was horrified by a lot that we were doing early on. But he was there and he was watching audiences laugh at us.
He was the first executive to get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And had the only one with the balls to go into a room and go, it's good.
He said something.
I don't get it.
He
It's not
said,
for
no.
me, but
He said something's happening here. There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. You can edit that out or
Sure.
actually put music
We'll
to it.
loop it
There's a
and
man
release it as a
with
single.
I don't think
gun
anyone's
over
going
there
to associate that with
cover.
the
telling
actual
me
song.
I've got to beware. It's time to stop. Don't make that show. Everybody says my favorite Stooges Mo. Anyway, this is why I really
topical.
You know what? If I had said,
Oh, if
I
Weird
had,
Al hadn't come along.
if I had sung that ditty at my rehearsal, you wouldn't know me now. I'd be at the guy at IKEA.
I know. There was a divine force helping you through it.
helping me not make stupid songs up. But yeah, Rick Ludwin said there's something happening there, and he just doubled down and went to bat for us, and remained a good friend of us all through, everything, and even through the Tonight Show craziness. Was like, nope, disagreed with people audibly, and got him fired.
Well, yeah,
we have to wrap this up.
We do have to wrap this up. So everyone can just look up the Tonight
we go
Show
for another 2 hours?
and the Serious Deal. People can read about that online.
Well, this
will be a new spin-off series.
This was
could run
cathartic.
20 seasons.
But
This is amazing.
It's tough, and I know I run off at the mouth, but it's very. I'm very. I don't talk about this stuff a lot, and so when it comes up in this forum, you realize it's like PTSD.
Right.
You start talking, and it's hard to stop.
No, it felt very visceral. Like you were there and you were remembering the Lucite table, and it was nice seeing all those
details. It's also
details.
easier to talk to you guys about it because you know what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, the process of talking about it, it's almost like to reaffirm that it really happened. Because it was so.
Yeah.
It's
Well, that's
so
why
crazy.
I will say I'm grateful to you guys for doing this podcast, because as much as I have trouble listening to
our voices.
to our podcast.
Well, it's just the lack of chemistry. Let's get a robot and a
What
bar of
else?
soap. And
I'll have you know.
no.
I hope I'm the soap.
Oh, you are definitely the soap.
I love being a robot.
But bleep bleep.
Where's my oil? You know the joint.
No, I have trouble. I have trouble going back. I have trouble going back there sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have trouble going back, but the fact that you guys are talking to Robert and Bill Tull, and you are. I mean, when I heard that you guys had done a deep dive on the old-timey baseball remote and found Nell.
Yes.
Yeah, she hasn't forgotten you.
And found her, and that is a magical moment in my life.
Yeah.
And this is very name-droppy, but Paul and I went and saw Jack White do his show recently, and he was telling me afterwards, we both realized we're going to be in the Seattle area around the same time, and he said, oh, I'm playing a baseball game then with a bunch of friends, and I'm going to be in there because he's on tour, and he said, you should stop by. You could play with us. And he said, and you could do it as an old-timey guy. And then he's like quoting from it, and I'm realizing he probably saw that when he was like 8, you know?
Why didn't he write a letter?
Exactly.
That's what got him into comedy.
I'm really grateful that you guys are doing this because, you can love us, you can hate us, but whatever happened during this crazy 28, 29-year span was authentic, kooky, and involved a lot of brilliant, weird, difficult, lovable people, in this movable feast that just seems to, now it's continuing in audio form and I think will morph into other things. But I just love that you guys are getting these stories down, because none of us should have ever been allowed to be in Rockefeller Center or Warner Brothers or any of these places. It's insane. And I love that you're getting you're getting this sort of oral history of a terrible mistake.
Right.
Well, people love talking about it too. I mean, it's easy to get, and same, once the juices start flowing, it's fond memories, and you've meant a lot to so many people.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories adjacent to your story.
Yeah.
You might not want to know about.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Speaking of Bill Tull and
I don't want to know what prison Bill was
That's who
in.
comes to mind.
Bill Tull was being led to the execution chamber when he heard on the radio.
They made me build the chamber.
The final appeal.
He heard on the radio that Conan was the new host of Late Night, and he was like, "That sounds good," and he wriggled free and got out a window.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you both.
Stop by anytime.
Anytime.
Yes, thank you very much.
This is great, guys. Thank you.
That was mostly Conan and some Jeff Ross.
Yeah. And a little bit of us.
Oh, yeah. We're sprinkled.
We were there.
It's such an amazing story.
It is. I know. I really don't get tired of it. I mean that.
No.
And there's new details always emerging as well.
You know, it's amazing to me hearing all of that. I think I've heard some of those stories separately, like little parts of it, and to hear it compressed like that, where he just went from one test to the next test to the next. It's
so stressful.
Oh my! It's
just imagining.
It's just unbelievable.
It's like a nightmare.
There was no let up. It was just like. It was literally like going down a water slide that just never stopped. And it's just like...
with knives. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And no water. It is an amazing showbiz story. So it
is. I know. I can't wait for the made-for-TV movie about it. On Hallmark.
Sure.
You know what? This season has been so fun for me. I've loved hearing and talking to all the people that have been a part of the show.
It was great.
Touched so many people in so many different ways, and just everyone has such fond memories.
There's so many people. There just isn't enough time there's so many more people that I'd love to talk to and catch up with. But the people we had on were fantastic. The writers and then
so many guests. Oh my God, the Brian Rich story about when he applied for his own job and got it under an alias.
Right, because he was leaving the show. He reapplied to replace himself and got the job.
I know.
And then hired someone to play him as the quote new writer. It was just I'm so glad that story got to be told.
It's an epic story. Yeah.
And then all these other parts of it came out, and then we dug up Nell, who is also
I know,
famous in the Conan lore from
the old-timey baseball remote.
Right.
She's still doing her thing. She's still knelling out.
Yeah, she really is an enigma. Like I don't.
Yeah.
She seemed exactly the same. Yeah.
We talked to a former head of state, the former president of Finland.
That's right.
Agreed to speak to us. We didn't trick her into it.
She was on our 100th episode, along with Robert Smigel, who we discussed earlier. Right. I think people really loved when we talked to Bill Tull and John Rao, the prop masters.
Yes. Oh, there's so many Animal Corpse stories.
I know. But they also just talked straight up about the bedlam of getting the show together from their point of view every day back in 30 Rock. And I just love that, you think of 30 Rock as a staid building, and they were just running
just
some
mayhem.
Crazy schemes out of that prop room.
They were cutting wires and moving pipes around, dissolving animals in acid.
Right. All under extreme deadlines.
Yes. For a good cause.
Oh, and you know what show I'm watching? And I think it's because of we got to interview her. I Love That For You. And I think that show's really funny.
Oh, Vanessa Bayer's show?
Vanessa Bayer, who we interviewed.
Yes, who was a former Conan intern.
Right. And she'd been a guest on the show, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember the time she was talking about the show she was working on. And I was like, yeah, sure. Everyone's working on a show. And it's on Showtime. It's really a really well done show.
Oh, that's great. I love her.
If you haven't watched it.
There's such a lot of talent that came through the Conan halls.
Yeah.
From intern to employee to guest.
Yeah.
It's been a really fun season.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've loved seeing you every week.
I know,
and
that's
getting
my
to
favorite
chat.
part.
It's my
has
favorite
been talking
part.
to you.
Oh, it's been my favorite part too. I'm not even.
Sadly, the season is over. It's been so much fun.
It's been a blast, and we'll keep in touch. We'll keep yakking.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted on anything that's coming up, and
see where Conan heads next. In addition to the podcast, what else he's got up his sleeve?
Yeah, that's right. I'm ready to dig into his trash, maybe get some clues.
And if you like the show, you can support us by rating Inside Conan, an important Hollywood podcast, on iTunes, and leave us a review.
Yeah, thanks for doing that.
Yes.
In advance.
Exactly.
Well, it's been a really fun season, and we couldn't have done it without our listeners. Because why, Sweeney?
We love you.
It's true.
Thanks for letting me say it this time.
Inside Conan, an important Hollywood podcast, is hosted by Mike Sweeney and me, Jessie Gaskell.
Produced by Sean Doherty. Our production coordinator is Lisa Byrne.
Executive produced by Joanna Solotaroff, Adam Sachs, and Jeff Ross at Team Coco.
Engineered and mixed by Will Beckton.
Our talent bookers are Gina Batista and Paula Davis.
Thanks to Jimmy Vivino for our theme music and interstitials.
You can rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts.
And of course, please subscribe and tell a friend to listen to Inside Conan on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or whatever platform you like best.
It's the Conan Show. Put on your hat, it's the Conan Show. Try on some spats, you're gonna have a laugh. Give birth to a calf, it's Conan!
This has been a Team Coco production.
Ever notice how life's best stories don't happen in your living room? They happen on the open road, out on the water, or parked under the stars. At Progressive, they get that you want to focus on the experience, not worry about the what-ifs. That's why they offer quality insurance designed for your ride, whether that's a boat, RV, or motorcycle. Adventure with confidence. Visit Progressive.com and see how easy it is to protect your favorite way to get away. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in D.C. Prices vary based on how you buy.
You've tried melatonin, the white noise machine, the blackout curtains, the magnesium, and you're sleeping. Fine. Not great. Just fine. At some point, you have to consider the 4-year-old pillow is doing more damage than the magnesium is fixing. Coop Sleep Goods is running a bundle sale July 9th through the 20th. The starter bundle is the move. 2 pillows plus a sheet set, 40% off. And we're not saying it'll fix everything. We're just saying you've tried everything else. Coop's pillows are adjustable, designed to fit how you sleep, not just tolerate it. Mix and match any 2 pillows at 25% off or go all in on the starter bundle. One real upgrade beats 6 mediocre ones. Head to coopsleepgoods.com/comedy. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedy for 40% off the starter bundle and 25% off all other bundles.